Let's go. Absolutely. फिर से टूटा क्या कुछ?
नहीं.
I can hear you well.
Great. Hi Jaideep, how are you?
Very well.
Hi Jaideep, how are you?
Thank you so much.
Great.
Absolutely fine. Thank you, Anuruddhi.
Thank you. Thanks for coming for this session, and thanks for sharing your story with all of us. It is a real pleasure to have you and to get this opportunity to speak to you, Jaideep. So just for the viewers, I'll give a brief introduction about Jaideep. So Jaideep Kumar Sharma, AIIMS, MBBS MD from AIIMS, what I don't know, 25, 30 years of practice. He has been owning a chain of hospitals in Gurgaon and that place. I have been a personal friend of Jaideep for last 15 years, and I know how transformational his life has been and how he has navigated through various adversities of life, both from a health perspective, from a family perspective. And actually today he's a very evolved person, very transformed. And when we hear him, we'll see how enlightened he is. So with that, I will probably pass the baton to you, Jaideep, and request you to share a little bit about yourself, your personal journey in life, your right from your childhood, and then most importantly, the adversities that you faced at different junctures in your life and how you overcame. And not only today commercially extremely successful, but socially you are contributing so much to society, and also spiritually probably awake. I am not the right person to judge, but I would like to believe that you are already enlightened. So why don't you share about yourself, Jaideep?
So most of what you said is in a particular way said and spoken appears to be the truth. But more I live this life, the more I'm present to the fact that truth is something that humans can know. So that you don't know really the truth, and that I don't know really the truth is absolutely okay, because we were basically anyway humans. We will dwell on this more, and it would open up for you as to what I mean to say here. But I am now into the 58th year of my life. Have only understood very recently that whatever I say, whatever you say, whatever is the output from our system, if I may use that word, is only given by the input we've had over the years that passed by. Whatever you said about Jaideep is what you got about Jaideep. If we were to really look back into what you got about Jaideep, that is so subservient to what is your five senses about. Now, with so much in the question marks about what you got, what it is really about Jaideep, what am I really talking about, what is the outcome of our conversations thus far and beyond, well, it's just too confusing. Though one thing that matters the most is that we are, the very existence of us humans is by itself a magical thing. It's just simply a magical thing. Know alive that you have a soul, because that is the only truth about us, is that we are souls. Because if somebody were to tell me that I'm a good doctor, there would be as many number who would say I'm a bad doctor. If somebody would be of the opinion that I'm a good, somebody might feel he's the most ugly looking person. So how can I actually rely on anything that I perceive? When you ask me questions, what is deceptive about the questions is that they are only given by your senses. When I give answers, they're only given by my senses. And nothing of this is the truth. Because two people standing apart, you know that the thing about 6 and 9, you stand here, it looks like 6, you stand there, it looks like 9. You are in the northern hemisphere, the moon looks the way it does. Just go into the northern hemisphere, the crescent changes its shape. Planet is right now talking about day, but but it's a good place to stand that I don't know the truth. The problem with the modern man is that we are thinkers for knowledge because we want to fathom and understand what is really. why is it really important for years? Can you figure out as the hanging in orbits, what temperatures, what distances it is covering, the light, the sound, the heat? Really, are we even present to that? We have no clue of what this universe is all about. We're talking about shooting stars which are billions of light years away, and yet we haven't even figured out our own spouses as to what they really are about. Not knowing is a good place to start, because then you can start exploring. And I get this conversation today that I'm having with you, and what you've chosen as a conversation this evening is your quest of figuring out as to what really is about humanness, the restrictions that being humanness causes, the possibilities that being the humanness creates, and how in the five senses that we live, we will not be able to figure out within the five senses that we are born into and will exist as humans. Figuring out what really it is about being human is not possible, and you can't take it as a negative conversation.
So, Dr. Jaideep, this is very clear.
Go on.
Sorry,
please.
there is a
As we
lag.
go ahead, we will figure out something more. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, this is very interesting perspective you're sharing. But would you also mind in kind of helping us understand your life's journey per se? Because what we are really looking forward to is really understand how you faced adversaries, right? At a more material plane, at a physical plane, at a plane, a day-to-day operational plane, and what were those challenges? If you can help us understand the quantum
This
of those
conversation.
challenges.
Yeah. So this conversation is meant not just for Anuditi or just for Jaideep, it's meant for many more people. So to get the right perspective, you'll have to understand when Anuditi keeps talking about adverse situations of Jaideep's life, what he's actually referring to is a road accident back in 1993. I was just short of being 30 years of age, 20 and a half, which gives me the notoriety of being the second longest coma survivor in India in a road traffic accident. It also talks of when I gave everything to someone, partners, one after the second, after the third, people whom I would trust and be with, lock, stock, and barrel, would just simply one day be gone to very various situations. And how I would he also by certain legal practice.
Jaideep, sorry to interrupt. Actually, Jaideep.
ठीक है. So Anuditi was referring to certain adverse situations of my life, whereby he's actually talking about a road accident in my 30th year of life, just short of being 30 years of age, met with a road accident, out of which I earned the notoriety of being second longest coma survivor in a road accident in my country, India. He's talking about the adverse situations whereby socially I've gone through 2 legal divorces and multiple separations from people whom I've trusted everything that I ever have possessed as being partners in my life, and yet them not being any more part of my life, given whatever situations made us part ways. He's also talking of situations whereby medically I was diagnosed bilateral retinal detachment and blind in matter of just one overnight sleep. I got up and I was completely blinded by both eyes undergoing retinal detachment. Or maybe he's referring to the cancer of my vocal cords that I was facing in the February of 2019, just 2 years ago, where I was operated and I was told that I probably would leave my, would never be able to speak again, to weird situations, financial losses of unmeasurable proportions for a person like me who was on loan and always taking money from the banks to work my professional day-to-day activities, and then suddenly be confronted with losses of 4 crores and 2 crores in Indian currency, which is phenomenal for an average Indian to even bear. So these are some of the negative situations that happened in my life, and the government passing an order to shut down my medical setups because they so figured out that it is illegal for what I'm doing in the country, for I hadn't sought the right permissions for it. Now, all these things have caused adverse situations in my life. And yes, they have. Talk about certain situations which were amazing. The moment I was born in this country, I think best country on the planet, because some of the people I can look up to on the planet are Gautam Buddha, Mahatma Gandhi, Guru Nanak, Vivekanand, Ramakrishna Paramhans, Mother Teresa. These are the people who chose this land. All of them had the powers and possibilities of being in any place else. But I don't know of one single land on the planet where by default I was born into this beautiful country. Why call it beautiful despite of all its so-called handicaps? And we'll come to that in a little while. Is that the person would show up as being effective and as being purposefully creative and living a purposeful life only if there was purpose around it. How could a person who has everything figured out already around him be of any value to the situation? If everything is already figured out and worked out, there is very little for me to do. My perspective about life is just, it can have only 2 things. First, it could have breakthroughs. My birth, my being born into a family, well-to-do family, me being born into parents who are highly educated, motivated, driven professionally, my mother who's religiously driven, my father who's educationally, academically very hungry, them providing us with all the shelter and care and egging us on to go on and be academically great, me and my elder brother. Finally, me getting into an institution of education where a place like All India Institute of Medical Sciences, where all the best medical fraternity gets together to educate an idiot like me at no price, no charges, no educational fees, because Indian government was anyway paying a stipend and scholarships then maybe 100 times more than what the college would charge me for education. Me being given those millions of patients in 5 years' time, which cannot be had in US or Canada or Australia or anywhere, and be allowed to work on them and serve them and learn through them as to what healing could be all about. Me running into wonderful people like Anuditi, yourself, and all these social people whom I meet every now and then, who are so driven to actually make an impact on the society, on the mankind, through the years that they're walking on this planet. They want to, the fire inside of them has to do something about it, and me exposed to that, and this environment, the whole environment of being even allowed to sit in a staircase like this and chat with somebody about the very existence of human beings and my existence and my purpose in life, and really what is it all about, human beings, the planet Earth, the solar system, the universe, and we can talk such kind of conversations, wasn't available to most, and still is not to most of the planet. How lucky am I? And the knowledge of language. My beautiful language, Hindi, this perfect universal language called English, these technologies about Zoom conferencing, about computers, about cell phones, about emails, about writing and exploring and learning from others and sharing with others. How can I complain? What can I complain about? It's way beyond what human brain could imagine, fathom, ask for, need. It's way more. It's way more than I could. I'm reminded of this statement that I made a few days back, and though it is in Hindi, but I'll still like to read it. And Anuditi, this is for you. ये मेरा संपूर्ण जीवन महाभारत ही तो है, जहां रथ मेरा शरीर है, मेरा धनुष गांडीव, मेरा धनुष मेरी कार्यकुशलता है, मेरा हर कर्म मेरे द्वारा छोड़ा गया एक एक तीर, मेरा सारथी स्वयं ईश्वर है, जो मुझे इन विभिन्न शत्रुओं, जिसको तुम एडवर्स सिचुएशंस कह रहे थे, इन विभिन्न शत्रुओं के आक्रमण का सामना कराता ही रहता है। मेरी चेतना अर्जुन को अपने पूरे सामर्थ्य से केवल हर क्षण अपनी धनुर्विद्या का प्रयोग करते ही रहना है। ये मेरा संपूर्ण जीवन महाभारत ही तो है।
Well said.
Being born into this.
Well said. Well said.
So why would I be bothered about things not working right? Wow, because that's the planet I want to be on. Because I am here, the war has to be on. I'm that kind of a warrior who makes a difference. I would be wasted if there were peace and calm and everybody was. He would deliberately get me into a situation where I'm proving myself worthy of a sick situation and an explosion of corona, people dying of lifestyle disorders, diabetes, anxieties, hypertension, torn relationships, depression, anxiety. I mean, these are the situations he exposed me to, got me to figure out how to get out of it, and now wants me to throw these arrows back at people where they can use such experiences. These conversations which he's allowing me to make, and I'm not even asking for them. He's making this all happen for me. Andy, I hope you really get you being here right now listening to me appears like God himself creating this. You can call it madness, you can call it crazy, you can call it abstract, you can call it metaphysical, whatever. Kindly notice, if you could step out of your body, walk away a little and see the whole situation. I couldn't have asked for a better one. And here I can, my soul right now delivering on what it was created for all those 58 years ago in this bodily form, was meant to come to this point right now, sit here, look into your eyes and actually say these words. And this is what is going to transform the planet right now. And this is my Brahmastra being fired right now by me, by my soul. And that's what I'm talking about. And had there been no Mahabharat, who would have cared about me talking what I'm talking? Who would have bothered to talk about happiness if everybody was happy? And I am talking of happiness and people are listening to me because there were situations in my life where happiness was the last thing on my mind. I should have committed suicide or maybe destroyed half the planet around me if I could. But I chose then to serve and be purposefully devoted to the creation that I am for the planet, is what it is really about being human. देखो, human में एक वर्ड हिंदी में हम बोलते हैं तो इंसानियत है उर्दू में, और हिंदी में इसको मानवता कहते हैं. So the purpose is clear, man. The purpose is absolutely crystal clear. I am here for insaniyat, I'm here for manavta, I'm here for humanness. And I have multiple times said, and I'll repeat, there are two major features of being human. The first, that you can feel other person's discomfort, pain, problems. That consciousness, that Sah Anubhuti, that I feel what you feel, is not possible for most life forms that humans know of right now. We only know of life forms that exist in solar system, in our solar system, and the only way we know humans are different is because our life form, I can actually feel what you're going through. In our words, it is called Sah Anubhuti, Sahanubhuti. I have complete sympathy, compassion for another person who's in suffering and pain. Suffering and pain is what humans don't want.
Yeah.
I have the ability to now be Sahanubhuti about that person. And who are the trainers? The best doctors on the planet. How much did they charge me? Zilch, zero. Where was I brought? To the best medical college on the planet. Now here sitting with no effort of my own, I am being given the entire view of what it could be being human. And I see people suffering, and I see people with missing limbs, I see people with vision gone, I see people with heart conditions, little kids, corona killing millions of people, and the Mahabharata is on for me. And this Rath is brought here now in this planet, in this zone, at this time, in the entire eons of the universe, for the first time, and I'm the only rider, and he is the only charioteer. And he gets me to this point. And I'm full of everything going wrong right in front of me. Sense, and I'm most my life I'm in for this. Only thing now I need to take is to take on the challenge. I'm in denial of the challenge that is already existing in front of my eyes. I'm in perception of it. My five senses can perceive that there is a problem out there. My five senses have been trained enough. My arms are trained enough. My skills are good enough, and I can take it on. But I create excuses. And he's watching me. He's right now sitting next to me, watching that he's created this scenario in front of me because he's the charioteer. I repeat that. And he knows what is in my vision right now. Because he could have taken me to Australia, maybe whichever year before, or maybe 1,000 years in future. If he's really the creator of the entire universe, you know, Einstein got it, that the whole thing is about, it's in various time frames. If I could move faster than light, I would reverse time, right? You understand what I'm talking. The speed of universe, the speed of our perception is as good as the speed of light. Can't have any faster than that. If for some reason we could learn to move us faster than light, we will go back in time. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Energy is equal to mc square, Einstein, theory of relativity. And everybody knows about this thing. See, big brains have already figured it out. It is already in our literature thousands of years back. I am a deliberate creation of something, of a person, power which could create the whole universe. Another there. Now, could that be a power which is not smart enough, intelligent enough, and could it have created me for some frivolous reason? Or I'm an accidental creation with accidental journeys, with accidental experiences? No. It's a shame to think that whatever happened was not known to the Almighty. Oh, jolly well, he knew everything that was going wrong. Could he have not made it right? Of course he could have made it right. He chose not to. Why? The question is why he chose not to make it right. Is that experience was the most precious thing that ever happened.
That's right. That's right, Dr. Saab.
If a piece of carbon, a billion tons of millions of years, if that piece of carbon could figure out that he's being put under this pressure for millions of years, so that eventually it turns into the most precious diamond, it would have to take that pressure. What's wrong with the pressure? What's wrong with chipping away of what is not relevant in you? What's wrong about being chipped away because that little stone which once chipped, that little diamond which is being the hardest thing, still being chipped, is being created into that masterpiece which would be worth billions. My pressures, my journeys, my agonies, my adverse situations that you talk about, Anuditi, were those which created me as a shinier, as a brighter, as a more precious, as a more important, as a more valuable entity that I am. I'm a creation of the Almighty, and it has to be chipped into being the best of the best. And it would happen with pain, pressures, adverse situations, injuries, taking away what I already have. And when it takes away all that, what will be left would be the precious stuff. How can I be negative about it? And the rest of the time, well, once.
So, Dr. Jaideep, a question pops up in my mind.
Want to say something?
Yes, I just interrupted you because, I'm very keen to understand, with all the high level philosophical view and the flavor that you gave to your challenges in life, which really makes sense, makes great sense. At a tactical level, what stops you from giving up? Because as you mentioned, right, from your cancer to losing eyesight to undergoing like divorces to huge financial losses, I know, and then also rising to the echelons of huge commercial success at some point of time. I know you have been owning I don't know how many hospitals and stuff. So you have seen the ups and downs, and consistently, almost I can equate your life to Abraham Lincoln's. So help us understand what stops you from giving up?
Oh, first of all, Anuditi, there is nothing to give up. I never gave up, and I'm never going to take on anything. It's just so simple. What is there to take on? What is there to celebrate, not celebrate? I mean, what can go? It's beautiful being human. My God, could it be better than that? And he's now training me to be right next to him. He will soon. I'll be right next to him, taking over from him. I'm his child. My parents made it miserable for me certain days that I'll be punished so and so if I don't read my chapters properly, if I don't score that much. He's doing exactly the same as a loving parent would do. The more the situations become adverse, the more I realize that he's madly in love with me. Why would he be bothered to make my life miserable and get something out of me if it were all worked out? The more he focuses on me, the more miserable the life is going to be. And think of Virat Kohli as a cricketer, or Bumrah as a bowler. They are worthy only when they're in the final overs, in the final few balls, which are going to decide the fate of the whole country. I mean, I feel so much similarly a person where I'm challenged to think of solutions of medical situations that are happening in my country. I'm trained enough. Can I think of a solution which would make people actually sit up and notice, oh my God, simple solutions? Say for example, organ donation that I keep talking about. If entire country would simply each dead body saves 6 families, because one eye by 2-3 people, a leg shed by 4 people, 2 kidneys are shed, skin is used by burns, intestine by cancer patients. Brilliant. India number 299 was used in my country. If I could recycle back into the system.
Again, for last 1 minute you were breaking. Last 30 seconds you were breaking a bit. So I just stopped there. I can just continue. You are very clear. Last 30 seconds. Yeah.
The life that can be saved, the number of people that can be saved, the families that can be saved is so high that sickness would have been eradicated from my country in a matter of just 100 days. 60% hospital will need to shut down. Doctors would not have work. There'd be no money to be wasted on sick people, because dialysis people have got their kidneys, blind people have got their eyes, breathing problem people have got their lungs, heart condition people have got their hearts, skin has been utilized by burns patients. And it's a technology which is now possible given the way modern medicine is working right now at. If this could be now initiated, and I'm not even trained in it, but I'm so crystal clear about it, that if this could be done in matter of next 3.5 months, 60% hospitals in India would have to shut down. Now we have 5G network in India. We have Mangalyaan going to Mars on a mission for 6 rupees per kilometer. We have the maximum number of dead youth lying in my country. We have the rockets which fly at enormous speeds. We have drone corridors possible. We have challenges which can be met. And with putting all this together, if we can right now, we create a platform where dead are used as raw material for healing the living.
For organ transplantation. For organ transplantation.
Through organ transplantation. And I'm talking about skin to bones, to even hair, to eyes, to muscles, to every part of human body is reusable. We start doing that. The magic unleashes. I see my Mahabharata, I see my journey, I see the vision, I see the purpose. I see I have the Brahmastra. Me not using it is the problem. Me saying that no, in front of me, I see people who will get offended. People who will say no to me. People who will say, oh, he's not trained. No, bullshit. You have to care about. There was a problem with Arjun at some point in the war that he stood there and he said, no, this is not workable. I'm not gonna, this doesn't seem to make sense. But it does. If Arjun were actually to, and then he turned around and said, okay, look at me, and then listen to me, look into my mouth or whatever he said. I can see him every day telling me this, that there is a big purpose he created me for. He got those 56 people to come and donate blood for me so that I may wake up one day and know that people contribute to people. For Christ, he only got 4 people. When he landed on this planet Earth, only 4 wise people came looking for him. When I was going and I was brought back, there were 56 people who came looking for me. And they were wiser. I can tell you they were wiser people. And they vanished again. I'm a very purposeful creation on this planet. Right now, whatever this planet is missing is what I'm here to provide. I mean, this is the very reason I am. And I could not be wasted trying to figure out how to please my wife and set up my children's businesses and wishes. He took up whatever he thought was, because he's kept me for the reason that I'm now going to deliver on every moment, every second, every breath I take is me any what he asks me. What with this? And now with this, only thing I see on this planet is people are not healthy. And this is the basic requirement. First, to be exist, which is health. Second, to be happy, because that's the only special feature humans have. Expression of happiness, laughing.
Hello, Jadeep. We lost you, Jadeep. Hello.
Yeah.
So Jadeep, help us understand.
So can I continue?
Yeah, you can continue. So I have a query. Can I ask my query?
Please.
Today at 58th year of your life, you seem very energetic and still purposeful. What is your vision in life? What drives you when you wake up in the morning? What is it that drives you to have a purposeful day and a purposeful week and a fortnight and a month and a year?
Yeah, okay. So, Anuditi, first is life is right now. Life is not about the week and the year. I never look at life as one more week and one more year. I look at life as right now, right here, right now. This is life. I'm guaranteed this, and this is the only guarantee I have. And I have a purpose. And I'll cheat on it if I choose to now watch IPL match or a Netflix movie. I would rather actually see venues and openings where this conversation is talked about furthermore after me. I'm not here forever. Having cleared whatever I will in next few breaths of mine, which could be one breath to maybe 1 trillion breaths, I would have to eventually move on in this. He will choose to give me whatever duties he would choose to give me next time. But this is my duty right now, to be consciously aware that I am his creation and I have a purpose. How to do? Now, let me take an analogy here, right? Now the toaster knows, or the mix, or my refrigerator knows, he's supposed to make the things cool, right? Fridge, right now, let's take for example. And that's the only purpose a fridge has in your house and in my house also. Now, suppose I get indulged in stuff which is not even close to being human. जिसमें मानवता, मनुष्यता, इंसानियत है ही नहीं. Say like maybe chasing girls, which even dogs can do, and they chase their other gender anyway. So yeah, that is okay. That is also a possibility, but is that the only possibility is what I have to ask myself. I can do that, it can be fun, but is that the only possibility? Me being only involved in doing that, would that serve the purpose of my existence? Every now and then, being aware of my purpose of life is what I call, and in Hindi you understand, is the word dhyan. Is the word dhyan. When you tell your driver ki dhyan se gaadi chalao, is actually when you're aware. Beta tera dhyan se gaadi chalao, kya kar rahe ho aaj tum? तुमने पीछे रेड लाइट जंप करी, उसको तुमने लेफ्ट से कुत्ते को आते नहीं देखा, इधर पे तुमने इंडिकेटर नहीं दिया. Yeah, that is dhyan. So when I am driving my vehicle, every now and then I should focus back on me being human. How would I focus on me being human? Continuously, if I'm focused on being human, my journey is going to be great. Because it's the journey of a human being. Now, human being has what purposes? One, I said, compassion, sahanubhuti. Second, happiness. In fact, happiness happens to be the voltage for the toaster, the voltage for the refrigerator, let's say. If the voltage was wonky, if the voltage was say too little, I would not be freezing stuff too well. If the voltage was too high, I'd probably break down even worse. So it has to be the right amount of dhyan. I should not be so much into dhyan that I forget that I have to take care of myself also as a physical entity. My blood pressures, my sugars, my physical existence, my cleanliness, my hygiene. I have to take care of that. And yet also be connected to the bigger purpose of my very existence. I hope you get, there are two levels of dhyan I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
One is what gives me survival, and the other which gives me purpose. And neither is less important. Neither is less important. The very prerequisite of creating anything and anything purposeful is being happy. And that's the right voltage about things. Consider, Anuditi, for example, you wake up with a negative mindset because boss said something, or the client said something, or the things that you meant your newspaper wala to do didn't do it on time, or the milk wasn't delivered, or the whatever happened. A friend didn't wish you for New Year's, whatever happened. Now, with that upset mind, if you were to actually sit and create whatever work you do, say maybe write a software, make a painting, sing a song, make a dance move, or maybe cook a cup of tea for yourself, you would know that it hasn't come as best as it could have happened had you been in a good mood, right?
Yeah.
A drive, a song, a story writing, even watching a movie, and forget about all that. I'm really talking about as mundane and simple acts like sleeping, as relaxing, as your blood pressure, as your breathing, as your defecation, urination. Even those get impacted when you are not in the prime of your experience of life. We're not in the best of moods. Even a little mosquito can destroy your happiness or your comfort levels. But if you're actually right now so purposefully engaged into something which is like wow experience for you, and every environment around you is conducive to that, oh my God, then think of the kind of possibility that can be created. The challenges that I was subject to was actually to check me as to whether the challenges distract me or whether the purpose allows me to still focus on my work. And it was a brilliant way of training me. His training was perfect. I was complaining for no reason. I have a purpose. I was always created for that purpose, and things will not work according to it because he doesn't want things to work according to it. It's all about me and him. He has a puzzle, and I have to solve it. And he would make it difficult because I'm the better guy.
Absolutely.
I mean, if the situation is bad, it is because of me.
True, true.
I'm the creator of the situation around me.
And Dr. Jaideep, I think you raised a very, very important point a few minutes back, that there are two forces: survival forces and forces which lead to happiness or ecstasy or bliss. Now, both are important. You cannot forego your personal hygiene. You cannot forego your day-to-day demands, right? Financial demands, other demands, social demands. But at the same time, when you overdo that, the issue becomes when you make the balance go out of shape. The issue comes there, because if we do not ensure that the focus is equally on your survival forces as well as on your passion, on your higher self, on your happiness, on your joyfulness, then the story kind of goes for a toss.
Correct, right? So
yeah, so that leads to my question, that how do you make that happen? See, intellectually we all understand that we need to aim for higher self, we need to contribute to society, but then on a day-to-day level, an average Indian, what happens the moment you start seeing some bit of affluence? You want to buy a home, you have a big mortgage, you buy a car, and then for next 10 years you are stuck, and then by the 10th year, then your kids are there, you have to take care of their education, which is freaking expensive in metros. And then you would want, like your want doesn't end. Then you have health issues, your spouse has health issues, your in-laws, friends, your parents. So the question is how, what, there is no doubt. There is a need for balance, there's a need to focus on happiness. But how do an average Tom, Dick, and Harry get that done?
Okay, so I hope we are in for a big conversation now, but I would love to talk about this. Everything you just heard, everything that you have heard till now in whatever years of life that you've lived is generated out of your experience of life. Because you're so confident, because you've experienced it. It's so obvious, I've experienced it. I know books are written on it, statistics are available. Another thing, there are two ways, as I said, there are two ways. One is a law, one is the way of knowledge. You know all this, right? You know this is true. The other flavor that you got was where life is given by wisdom. They're both lives and they overlap. One is the life of knowledge and the other is life of wisdom. If I mean, in lack of correct language, and humans will not be perfect ever, I'm pretty sure of that. Whatever is best available right now in communication between you and me, one is a life of knowledge and the other is a life of wisdom. Now, life of knowledge is about reaching somewhere, and I'm highlighting the differences between the two. And the life of wisdom is you're already there. Certain things you will get when you reach there. Money, children growing up, better health, the financial safety for yourself. But wisdom, on the other end, tells you that you have everything, that you're whole and complete. How are you going to use it now? That's where it is. And because the conversation as we talk slips between wisdom and knowledge, if you're listening to me from the sense of knowledge, I will have lacunas and a whole lot of problems there. thinking from the word of wisdom. See, most of the people we read books of in India, Surdas and Kalidas and Tulsidas and Khalil Gibran and all these wonderful authors, notice they don't come from domain of knowledge. Nobody cares which university they were educated in, or even if they were educated or not. Because knowledge would only let you know things that would not work or how things should be worked out, otherwise they will not. But wisdom tells you things will always work. Things will always work. Wisdom tells you that all you need to do is relax. Wisdom tells you, see the wise men, and there are wise men even in India currently, right now there are a whole lot of wise men who sit judge over many conditions. अभी खाप पंचायत कहते हैं कभी उसको, you know, there are senior people sit down and listen to. They're wise people. They haven't read books, but they still find easier solutions to problems. They find solutions which are palatable to universe rather than to one or the other. Pitting one against the other is the first problem of humans right now, because knowledge actually puts you in some hierarchy of first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and this one below the par mark, and this is failure and this is super failure. And that's how humans are graded when you're talking of knowledge. When you're talking of wisdom, we are all equal. We are all children of the God, and we are all here to support each other. It's just as simple as that. It makes it just at par for everybody. I'm really not talking about capitalism and communism because it sounds similar sometimes. But I'm really not talking that. I'm really talking about being human. My assets utilize for others is what, and so I will serve you. That's taught in free. I can and I'll serve you, but I'll charge money.
I lost you. So my assets, what was
what the Western,
my assets?
my abilities, my assets, my abilities, my possessions are actually to serve you is wisdom. But that I'm going to use my abilities and you will be charged for it is knowledge. कहीं गीता में वो कहता है कि कर्म करो फल मत करो. You don't have to be bothered how much you get in remuneration for it. The conversation we were having last week about what you feel, what I feel, what situations in life feel like is where are my returns? Where are my returns? Where are my returns? अरे your returns तो मिल जाएंगे तुझे यार. He's too just and too kind. He will not keep your returns. He will give you your returns. At due course of time, you'll get your returns back. The pretense that we think that this is life and this is all there is life about is what keeps us miser and not contributing and not being human to others. You invest, it will all come back to you. You invest. Most religions on the planet are based on this premise that if you were to do for him or his children or for the purpose of universe, for humanness, it will all come back to you in bigger measures. And I'm talking about religions across the globe. And it is followed more religiously, because it's a religion, than even the books are taught. MBA and all other water book written, because they all come from what do you get out of it? While the life is actually about what do you give out of it. And the painful people in the end are the ones who are actually counting what have I given, what have I given. Or forget it, yeah, give more. That somebody took 2 crore, somebody took my property, somebody took whatever they took and took away is okay. Yeah, they were making me practice how to give. They were great gurus. They educated me. They taught me how to sustain, live through, thrive, still do better and give more. They only accelerated my giving away, except that I'm not happy that they were not the people I wanted to give to. I wanted to give it to the planet. But somebody XYZ came and took my 2 crores away, 50 lakhs away, and whatever that I'm complaining about. But anyways, you never brought it, man. The whole idea was suddenly you turned around, you noticed you have so much of it. Now you don't want to give it away because you suddenly feel it is mine. Sometimes the problem is not even that you think it is mine, you think it is you. You actually start thinking your respect is you, your degree is you, your house is you, your body is you. That is a problem, because in the morning that banana which was on the table is right now in your tummy and it is you. That glass of water that was freely lying in your refrigerator, right now inside of you it has become Anuditi. We start identifying, given the 5 senses we have, that what we procured from this planet is me, mine. It is stupid. It was always here. You only came as a soul, assimilated a few things, started calling it Anuditi and Jaideep, and then fell for it that it is really me, or it is mine. In a better version, it is mine, and in a really true sense, it becomes you. Your body is not even you. That's what I'm saying when I'm talking of organ donation. It is not you. I'm not saying give yourself away. I'm saying what you collected from the planet, give it back in a better shape. You came as a processor where you took away the banana, the wheat, grass, the water, the air, the oxygen, and you created something out of it. And now it is time for you to give it back to the to nature and give it. I mean, what's the problem? Why do you have to destroy and deface and burn it up and bury it and make it rot before you give it away? How about giving it in a good shape? Hanji, bolo. Bolo.
So that makes sense. So basically, just to clarify, what you're saying is we need to structure in our life in such a way that we should focus on giving to our profession, giving to our people, giving to society.
More than that. हाँ, चलो question पूरा करो. हाँ, question पूरा करो. ठीक है. हाँ, good.
So the focus is more around giving, and when you give, then the second element, the survival forces are automatically taken care of, and better taken care of in a far better way than we anticipate. But at the same time, we are at a higher plane of enjoyment, ecstasy, joyfulness, fulfillment. Is that what you were saying?
You got it. Yes, 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 and yes.
Great. So Jaideep, in this process, because you have been living this life for quite some time, what are your fears?
None. Right now, none. I don't damn fear anything. Break my leg, shoot me, take away all my money, put me on a roadside, crush me under a truck. It doesn't bother me anymore. It doesn't bother me anymore.
So
it
that
really doesn't.
That is very interesting, Jaideep. Sorry, I will take this opportunity to interrupt you, because today, which means you are saying that you have become fearless. But
totally.
What is it that led to that fearlessness? How did you bring that as a normal state of being, a state of complete fearlessness? Because I would not even use the word majority. I would almost say almost all of people, irrespective of age, nationality, culture, state, have some or other fear in them. Fear of losing the money, fear of not getting the societal status, fear of not getting professionally recognized, fear of losing spouse, fear of health, fear of God knows what. So how did you transcend? So I would love to believe that, of course, it's a journey you have traversed, and today you are completely fearless. But what were the drivers, and how did you enable a transformation in your being that made you as fearless as you claim to be as on today?
Okay. First of all, when you say the word transformation, it doesn't take too long. One, it's a moment and you're gone and you're it. In a moment, you're it. The myth about transformation is that it's a journey and it takes long. No, it doesn't. What I'm so positively charged about this conversation between you and me is that somebody somewhere on the planet, and a few handful of them, would listen to this conversation and maybe believe me and try it on that it actually takes a milli-microsecond for the transmission to be. One. Two, the only thing you need to know is that you never came with anything and you can't leave with anything. You never came with anything, and you will not leave with anything. You came as a soul, a pure soul. You will leave a pure soul. Nothing you think you brought. You're talking about your finances, you're talking about the house, you're talking about these green currencies in your pocket, you're talking about those cars outside your building. Nothing you can take with you. And nothing came with you, by the way. So there's nothing to feel attached about it. Nothing that you call your spouse, your parents, your children, your neighbors, your best friends, nobody came with you. You're going to leave without them. This is in the physical world that you understand. Now let me get to the crazy metaphysical world where I come from. All of this, that power with my soul will stay with me forever. Wherever, whenever, wherever I'm taken, as many times as I'll be taken, to whichever condition I'll be taken, I will always have the powers, and now a better skill to recreate them. I will recreate them over and over again. I'll never be deficient. That gives the edge to the sword. The sword is the physical sword, but the metaphysical gives us the edge. That I would always have the strength and powers and knowledge and wisdom to recreate the whole universe around me. Take me anywhere that you would, and I would. And every time my environment has been changed, people around me has been changed, my finances, my books, everything has been changed. And he has tested me over and over again. And I've proven to myself and to him. And there is no other conversation. There's the only conversation that is between him and me. That's it. 58 years of just a conversation between him and me. What am I worthy of? And he's checked me thoroughly that I'm worthy of certain things, which, as you claim, most are not worthy of right now, right? So having checked that out on me, you know what he's going to do next with me?
Yeah.
Take me to the higher class. Give me the bigger challenge. Show me the bigger way to go. And I still will have nothing with me. I'll still walk into it barehanded, and I'll still walk out of it barehanded. Barehanded, bare-bodied. There'll be no body even. I'm not my body. I am me, which is so hidden by the body I have. It's so hidden by the family I have, hidden by the beliefs I have, hidden by the country I'm born in. It's so hidden that we think this is real. The real thing is between you and him giving you whatever training he has to give you for the purpose that he has to deliver. He chose you to sit in his Rath, and he brought you to this Mahabharata. He knew who among all those millions would actually fire that ultimate arrows. He got you here. He's making you see this. He's making you perceive this. He's giving you 5 senses so that you perceive it. He knows your abilities. He already knows your skills. He has trained you enough. He's given you opportunity enough to be exposed to such situations. And your soul, you take on and you fire, and you fire, and you fire, and you fire, and that's all you came for. When it will be called off is not none of your problems. In the physical sense, I don't know when this war will get over. I don't have to know. It's already so much fun. I'm only being trained and being used for seeing how well I've got trained. I'm being trained for being human. I'm being trained for handling adverse situations. I'm being trained to stay happy. I've been trained to stay healthy. I've been trained to make others experience these things. And I can't stop myself from talking about it, expressing myself. And he will send angels like you and machines like these, which I'm holding in my hand and you're watching into, that will make this word be spread to the universe that he wants it to be spread to. The appropriate time is now. The appropriate person is me, and the appropriate situation is this. And knowing that is what mindfulness is, knowing that is what dhyan is, knowing that is what awareness is, knowing that is what it is all about. And if I can 24/7, every breath, every time I breathe, I can sense that happen around me, is what it is about liberation. And I practice so that one day I'm a master at the game, and I do it effortlessly. And I'm not taken away by what is missing and what is lost and what is broken and what is not there. And they will go. I lost my father. I lost my connection with my children. I lost my life partners. I lost a whole lot of my body is gone, 55% anyways. And I know, because I am the best. And if he loves me, he would give me more challenges and take away more from me, and see if I can still continue to deliver. And if I do pass this exam, I will be promoted from MBBS to MD, where the examination would get tougher. And then I'll be given another degree, maybe PhD, and then maybe make it. As for me, insofar as a student, a bigger person, a bigger soul, and the journey is forever on. There is no, I don't want the journey to end. People want liberation. Ye janam mrityu se alag ho jana, Bhagwan mein vileen ho jana. Arey bullshit. I want to live this life. I want to live this one. The challenges are bigger. Tomorrow I want my challenges bigger, because that will make me a bigger person. The challenges that I take on is what defines who I am. Not the building that I live in, not the clothes that I wear, but the challenges that I take on. That would define who I am. And my being is decided by not my physical possessions and people around me, but it is decided by what is inside of me as a being. I hope you get what I'm saying, buddy.
Yep. This is actually very deep.
The beautiful part about this is, the less you focus on the playground. So my focus has to be on the playground. It's about the games I'm playing. It should not be really about my soul, journey of soul. That's all crap. I would put it away. When I wake up in the morning and I have patients waiting outside, and I'm not feeling too healthy, and I'm with this acidity, and I'm running fever, and my back is hurting, and whatever is happening, that is the time when I actually thank him for the yet another perception of a duty calling me, and I leave it to him to make it happen. I just jump into it. Worst situation would be I would not make it, right? So many times I've not made it. What's the big deal about it? Not making it is not gonna make it any difficult for me. Not making it is just gonna teach me how to do it better next time, nah? And I'll be a better person. I'll be a better soul. I'll be a better human being. Yeah.
So my last question is, is linked to the point that you just mentioned, that we need to focus on the game, right? In the playground, and automatically outcomes will come. Now, the issue is, how do you de-link? I mean, of course, you have spoken about it multiple times, but how do you de-link playing the game without focusing on win or loss? Because you see, whenever our cricket players speak, whenever our favorite sportsmen speak, they always say, we are playing to win. We are playing for 10 victories, or we are playing for X victories. So victory is very strongly embedded in their approach and their planning and their execution. But if I don't focus on the game, if I don't focus on the outcome and just try to ramp up my game, how do you manage that delicate balance? How do you ensure that you are still performing, you and the team is still performing at their highest self?
Yeah, Anudit, I got the question. Yeah. Okay. So the focus is on winning the Uber Cup or maybe the European Championship. But really, I'm talking of something different. I'm really talking about the game of football itself. I'm talking football. I'm not talking about European Cup. I'm not talking about how to win that game. I'm talking much bigger, much bigger. I'm talking humanness. Achieving what? What are you trying to achieve? All you have to achieve is humanness, which is simple, which is feeling compassion, doing for others, singing, laughing, loving, and for the only anything. You could be disabled, you might lose your voice, and it made me do all that, and yet I found that evening I was happier than the evening before. It is possible, and it is possible, and it is this message through me which he and you as his angel want the world to really talk about. And thank you for this opportunity. This wasn't happening had you not thought of what I'm experiencing now is because it is not talked of in the books, because it's not talked of in education, it's not talked of in universities. It's something which has gone so missing that it is missing for the race. And this conversation start now through this that we are having right now, that it is workable to have a spirituality which is a commensurate match for the situation on the physical situation on the planet. And that is what it is about being human. When you rise up to being a match to what you physically perceive as the threat. And you always have that possibility. And that's where lies the humanness, the greatness of being human. With all your vulnerability, all your fears and doubts and problems, you still rise to match up to the situation that it creates. Be it corona, be it loss of a loved one, be it demise of a loved one, be it a court case, be a financial loss, a medical illness, whatever. But there is a possibility of still matching up to the worst situation and still be able to create that happiness, humanness, this amazingness about being human on the planet. And that little thing we'll need to continue to talk about through you, through both of us, and through many internal thinking about. I'm not an expert on it. You know me. You've known me for long enough to know that I'm not an expert on it. But I get a sense of it every day. I sit with a sick patient. I hear somebody die. I think of my family relatives. I sense I'm a purposeful creation. And you are one, Andy, and thank you for what you created to me and for the whole planet.
Thank you very much, Jaideep.
With happiness, that's all.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jaideep. It was a pleasure. It was very, very insightful discussion, very deep, very profound, off the beat and very refreshing. So thank you for enlightening us today. And once again, pleasure to have spoken to you in this forum.